Hello students, welcome to BTech360. A lot of students that I meet of late have been asking about this particular university. This university is very good in terms of the kind of name it has, the fact that it's a National Forensic Sciences University. But is it as good in terms of student outcomes? Is it as good in terms of placements? Is it as good in terms of demand from the industry to get a good job? That is something that always has been very complicated in my head most of the times. Because when I look at companies that are going for placement, are they going to this particular university to recruit certain kind of students or certain kind of skill set or talent? That's something that always bothered me. So we actually had to research a lot more deeper, but the unfortunate or fortunate part of it is that there is very little data available even on the website of the university itself. So what we did was we digged a lot of information from government mandates, from annual reports, and also from social media to put this particular report for you so that you can take an informed decision of whether you want to get into this university or not. Before I move ahead and start presenting data and information for you, can I please request you to subscribe to BTech360 right away. If you've done that, now here is the thing about National Forensic Sciences University. Now NFSU rather, is also an INI, which means it's an institution of national importance. This status is given to only those universities which the government of India thinks, or India thinks for that matter, that it is very important for the existential needs of the country that this particular university and these particular skill sets are developed in the country. So you actually have a lot of INAs for mining and those kind of things. This is about forensic sciences, and of course it is funded by the Ministry of Home Affairs, so you obviously understand the kind of importance that this particular university has in terms of the security infrastructure of the country. From that perspective, NFSU, as I said, is an institution of national importance, which means the Government of India and Ministry of Home Affairs gives it a lot of importance for the need of the country. Now, what we're going to discuss at this point in time is the undergrad program, the B.Tech and B.Sc programs that are being offered at NFSU. They also offer a lot of other programs, and they also have a lot of campus also, by the way, which bothers me to a certain extent because in a certain sense, the learning is all over the place. It's very disintegrated. The learning is across multiple locations, and that creates its own problem because the best quality teachers may not be available in every place that they were setting up campus. But let us first go through the data as we have it at this point in time. The institution itself was established in 2009, and it was recognized as an INI in 2020. Right? INI, as I told you, it means Institution of National Importance, which means the Government of India gives a lot of importance for its existence. It's a government institution. Earlier, the admission to this is through NFAT, which is a National Forensic Aptitude Test, and now it is called JEE Main Score. So earlier they had their own examination, and now they're actually taking students from JEE Main. This becomes very important because what happens now is that it's a part of the JOSA counseling process in all possibility. To that extent, a lot more students will start applying to this. Now, while you're choosing this as an option, is it a good option? Because as I told you, in every counseling event I go off late, people are asking me about NFSU. And it becomes very important for us to keep the students and parents informed of what are the career prospects that you have if you want to join this particular university. The problem that I have with this particular university is this. The data is not available at all. And assuming the data is available, it is very sparse and very, what I mean to say is that they're only showing bits and pieces of the data and not the whole data. What is it that the institution is trying to hide, or the university is trying to hide? That they don't give all data in one single comprehensive style, but actually give bits and pieces of the highest salary but not the lowest salary, or number of students placed but not the total cohort that is there. That is the problem that I have, because I'll show you what exactly this means for me. Now, the campuses wise, if you now notice, earlier I told you about the number of campuses. This bothers me because it means that the best faculty is not in all the places. It's different faculty in different places. Like you have Gandhinagar, Delhi, Goa, Tripura, Dharwad, Bhopal, Guwahati, Pune, and Manipur. You have so many campuses and you have so many students. By the way, this is the parent university, which is in Gandhinagar, where you have 2,907 students. This is for the 24 data. We don't still have the 25 data, by the way. Again, I'm saying the problem that I have with this university is that I don't have any data. So everything that we are doing is researching and digging deeper to get some data so that it makes sense for you. And this is the only data that's available there. We've scanned their annual reports. They don't participate in NIRF ranking, so we don't have data there. They have their annual report for 23-25 and not after that. And there also they have old data of placements. So at every single point in time, all we have is very sparse data, very scarce data, and most importantly, the data is all over scattered. Right? They have a Delhi campus with 813 students, 343 in Goa, 210 in Tripura, and this, by the way, is 24. Remember, 68 in Dharwad, Bhopal is 70, Guwahati is 12, Pune is 13, and Manipur is 41. That's the kind of number of students, which means they actually have quite a bit of students. 4,477 students they have on the campus in 2024. Now that makes it them more responsible, or should make them more responsible to give data, which again I keep repeating is a problem for me. Look at the kind of courses that they offer. The courses that they offer is again, they have M.Sc Forensic Science, M.Sc Forensic Biotechnology, M.Sc Multimedia Forensics, M.A Mass Communication and Forensic Journalism, B.Sc M.Sc Forensic Science, M.Sc Nanotechnology, and so on and so forth. Now, if I were to come to the bachelor's part of it, we have B.Tech in Civil Engineering. Now, does a Forensic Sciences University need to get into civil engineering is a question in itself. But it is there. They offer B.Tech in Civil Engineering, right? And of course, they have M.Tech in Civil Engineering also, right? And then you come down further, they have B.Sc in Criminology and Forensic Science, which is important for them because that's a mandate of the university in a certain sense. Then they have MBA in Forensic Accounting and Fraud Investigation, which is specialized. Then they have MBA in Cybersecurity, MBA in Hospital and Healthcare Management. Now, what is it doing here? I don't know, but they have MBA in Hospital and Healthcare. They have MBA in Business Analytics and Intelligence. They have MBA, BBMBA 5-year integrated program, and they have MBA FinTech Forensics. Now, this might be important for them because, again, I'm repeating, you need to create a specialization for your existence itself. Whereas they're giving MBA in Hospital and Healthcare Management, they're giving B.Tech in Civil Engineering, right? Now, you further go down in law, they have BBLLB honors, B.Sc LLB honors, with no specialization as a seat at this point in time. Then they have a lot of M.Sc programs, including M.Pharma and those kind of things, right? Then they have B.Sc M.Sc Forensic Science, M.Sc Forensic Science, B.Tech, M.Tech, Computer Science Engineering, Cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity is there all over. Okay, it still is important maybe, so let's go ahead with it. BBMBA with specialization in Forensic Accounting, LLM, and so forth. And then they also have a B.Sc LLB honors. Right. Now the thing is, these are kind of programs. They have all kinds of programs across all campuses. Right. And they also have 4,500 students sitting there. Now the next part of it. The campuses, as I told you, we talked to the number of students. Look at the campus. They have a Gujarat campus, which is the parent campus. Then they have Delhi campus, a Goa campus, a Tripura campus, Manipur, Guwahati, Pune, Bhopal, Dharwad, Uganda they have one, Bhubaneswar, Chennai, Varanasi, Raipur, Jaipur and Nagpur. These are the campuses that they have at this point. Now, how many students, what kind of campus? Again, one is not aware of, but these are the campuses that they show that they have it at this point. Now, the B.Tech programs is not being offered in all those campuses. It's being offered in 5 campuses. Tripura, Delhi, Gujarat, Dharwad and Guwahati. In 5 campuses, they also offer the B.Tech programs. Now, within these 5 campuses, when we looked at placements, because you're dealing with 4,500 students in 24, so we started looking for placement or any kind of data that can help us explain to you what kind of placements happen in this particular university. When we looked at that data, you actually saw, we don't even know which year they belong to, but they talk of highest offered stipend, which means we talk of internships here, is 1.35 lakh internship, lowest is 30,000 or median rather, right? And the CTC highest was 67 lakhs and median is 13 lakhs. This is what they claim. Now this is for M.Tech in Cybersecurity, M.Sc Digital Forensics and M.Sc. So you still don't have any data for the undergrad program. What we're talking about is the master's programs, and these are the kind of placement statistics that they have, where the median is 13 lakh rupees and the highest is 67 lakhs. We don't even know whether the median is calculated for the entire cohort or only a few of them were placed, because of which the median becomes short up, but the placement percentage is very, very low. We don't know that. By the way, the kind of feedback that we're coming on social media is slightly different. I'll also talk to you about that as we move along. Right. Now, when we look at MBA program that they offer, it very clearly says, and by the way, we're taking it from their own website, by the way, the maximum is 16 lakh rupees. Right. The median is 4.5 lakh rupees and the average is 6 lakh rupees. Again, when you deal with a 4.5 lakh rupees kind of a median salary, and we don't even know how many students were placed. What we know is about 50-60% of the students were placed or something like that. Now, when we don't even know how many students were placed, how do we talk of what kind of median? And the median of 4.5 lakh for an MBA itself is very, very low. And that is a problem. And by the way, This is for data that's available where it is for M.Tech, M.Sc and M.Sc or MBA. We don't have any data for the bachelor's program. Is it that they're not comfortable showing, talking of those numbers? Is it that they don't want to disclose those numbers? It's a big question mark for me, because on one hand you talk of placements in the annual report. I've seen the annual report 25 annual report, 23-25 annual report, 24-25 annual report, where there is a separate section called placements. In that placements, they only talk of the master's program. They just avoid talking about the bachelor's program. And that is something, again, you must know. Again, it's a call that you will take. For me, every time when a data is not disclosed or the data is not transparent enough, it's a big red flag in my head. Which is all I'm trying to say, because here they are actually having a separate section in their annual report on placements, but they don't talk of their bachelor's program or undergrad program. Now the next part of it. So what we did was we actually started looking around in social media to understand how the placement is or what do the students say, because there is no authoritative source for us to understand the placement, right? So we started going around the social media to understand if any student who studied there has been commenting. So there is one person on legal, there is a legal website where these numbers were there. So we started looking at that data. And one of the students says, I have been reading about NFSU in several threads for the last month about how government is funding the place and prioritizing it. How I met a student from their M.Tech cybersecurity course. So now we talk on the master's course, who told me candidly that the campus placement scene there is quite bad. Campus placement scene there is quite bad, right? Only 10 students in their entire batch got any job offer of any kind. Only 10 students got an offer. The placement data and potential that they had been shown during admission were, according to him, mere tall claims without any substance. Right? They were told during placement that they should not depend on the institution, but instead do further study from elsewhere or try to get industry jobs that have nothing to do with their specialization. If this is true, then it is a pretty sad thing with the government talking this place up, but the students being misled eventually. So we're talking of students being misled eventually. So what is it that we're talking about? Campus placement scene that is quite bad. Only 10 students are placed, mere tall claims, and the students being misled eventually. This is a student writing about it, at least as I saw it. I went further and said, is that the only student? Another student wrote about 10 months back and says, so a handful of posts from students who took admission in NFSU, all of them has said that NFSU is just for show off. Inside faculty is worse than government college. Teachers join and leave on almost daily basis, small as campus, zero college life, all on kind of placements are kind of manipulated. I would suggest keep that as a last resort. Cybersecurity in general is a good path to follow if one has compassion for it, and rather passion for it, and can always have the learner mindset. But the college itself is shitty enough to make you regret cybersecurity. So let's get away from the invectives that the student used. The issue that we're talking about here is that the student says that a lot of show off, a lot of misleading stuff, and you must be careful about it. Even if you're interested in cybersecurity, think of something else and not just here. Now, these are two comments that I read which are extremely negative. There is a couple of positives also which we thought we should look at, because I want to present everything to you, because the college itself is not presenting the entire data to you. That's the reason why we had to resort to social media to understand what do students say about this particular university, right? So there is one student who wrote about it. If you're looking for a college that's genuinely focused on cybersecurity, NFSU is definitely worth considering. The student community here is quite active in cybersecurity, CTFs, and hands-on learning. Yes, the university is still growing and many campuses are operating from temporary locations, but almost every campus has already been allotted land and full construction is underway. I'm confident that in the next 5 to 6 years, NFSU will become one of the strongest institutions for cybersecurity in India. So he's now pitching for the future, right? One major advantage of NFSU is the exposure of law enforcement agencies and the opportunity to collaborate or intern with them. Just recently, officials from IB visited our campus for permanent job roles. 7th pay scale, something very rare for most colleges. NFSU still has a lot of room to grow, but if you're choosing between random private colleges and want to build a solid future in cybersecurity, NFSU is a far better option. And trust me, NFSU is ahead of many top institutes in practical cybersecurity. Last week I was at IIT Ropar, and very few students there even use Linux, VM or Kali. Most of are focused on DSC and coding and not cyber. So this is another student who is writing in favor of the thing. But of course, in this also, in the entire thing, I have not seen anything to do with placements. He's only talking of budget allocation from the government of India, the fact that it's operating from temporary, but they'll operate from a permanent campus. But no single line here talks of student outcomes. It does talk of learning, but it still doesn't talk of placements and student outcomes. So that's the third comment that I wanted to show you. And all this we had to resort to, as I keep saying, because the NFSU itself is not coming up clean and clear about the data of how many BTechs they took and what happened and how they placed. At least internships, something has to be shown. No conversation about that at all, though they offer so many programs. Right. Now, that is as far as placement is concerned. Now let's understand what are the programs that they have. They have a School of Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics, where they offer a B.Tech, M.Tech, computer science. It's a 5-year program. They have it across so many campuses: Gandhinagar, Delhi, Tripura, Dharwad, and Guwahati. And these are the number of seats. The fee here is very moderate because it's funded by the Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs. The fee here is for semester 1 to 6 is 65,000 and semester 7 to 10 is 90,000. So all put together, you're likely to be spending about 7.5-8 lakh rupees here. Right. Delhi campus also is similar, so that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with 7.5-8 lakh rupees through the 10 semesters is what you spend. Right. Now, the eligibility criteria should have passed the final examination of 10+2 higher secondary equivalents in science stream with mathematics, physics and compulsory or subject, and any one from the following, which is chemistry, computer science, electronics. And entrepreneurship, and candidates should have obtained at least 60% marks, 50% in case of SC/ST, PWD. So they're talking of PCM with a 60% marks if you're general category, PCM with 55% marks if you're SC/ST, PWD. And you must have a valid JEE main score 2026 score. This year, till last year, it was NFAT, which is National Forensic Sciences University Aptitude Test. This year onwards, they're going to go through the JEE, and which is what the opportunity and the risk is, because suddenly you'll have an influx of people who start applying to this particular university without knowing anything about what this university does and what the future is. That's a big risk that we are actually taking. Now, they also have B.Tech in Civil Engineering. I told you about this. It's a 4-year program in Gandhinagar, 40 seats, 65,000 per semester is the fees. And again the same thing, 60%, 55% JEE main score. I don't even know why they offer this, but they offer it, so I'm letting it be. The third thing is B.Sc in Criminology. So those two are B.Tech programs. This is B.Sc Criminology and Forensic Science, 3-year program, 30 and 40 seats in Gandhinagar, Delhi and Chennai. The semester fee is 65,000, which means we're dealing with about 5 lakh rupees kind of a fee, 5-6 lakh rupees fees, right? And again the same thing, 55% for general candidates and 50% for SC/ST and PW candidates. Here, the mode of admission is CUET UG admission test, and you need to take biology, chemistry, physics and mathematics in CUET undergrad. So they're not going through JOSA or JEE main, they're going through CUET for this particular program. Then they have B.Sc, M.Sc Forensic Science, where these are the seats that they have, 40 each in across 7 campuses, and in Dharwad it's 60 seats. And again 10+2, 55% marks is what they're looking for. The fees all put together 65,000 per semester, so dealing with about 5 lakh, 6 lakh rupees kind of fee, right? And here also it's CUET UG. So whenever you're dealing with B.Sc, M.Sc, B.Sc or M.Sc, they're dealing with CUET, and whenever they're dealing with B.Tech, they're using JEE main score, right? And the mode of admission, they very, very clearly say NFAT cancelled. So just remember this is cancelled. Now it is all JEE main. For B.Tech, M.Tech, it's JEE main 2026 only, and for B.Sc, M.Sc, it is CUET UG 2026 only. So just be very clear about the change that happened. Now, what is the admission? National Indian Applications Admission, CSA's admission portal. This is where you will apply to all school programs except the School of Law programs, and non-CSA's is for School of Law, Forensic Justice and Policy Studies. It is non-CSA's, there is another admission portal. So you can actually look at the admission portal to start applying there. Now, registration is from 9th April onwards. It's already started. Deadline is 10th June 2026. B.Tech admission mode is JEE score 2026. B.Sc, M.Sc is CUET 26, which I've already explained to you. Right. Now, I also told you what the eligibility is, 60% for B.Tech, M.Tech and 55% for B.Sc, M.Sc. What are the placement details I talked to you earlier? So this again, I told you this is for masters and civil and masters program. We still don't have data for the undergrad program, where they claim in Gandhinagar's 950 were graduated, 740 were placed at 78.94%, and Delhi 102 graduated, only 54 were placed, 50% placement. Goa 27 graduated, 19 were placed, 69% placement. Tripura 38 graduated, 7 placed, and 18% placement. Again, we don't know the median salary for this. When they give percentage, they don't give median salary. When they give median salary, they don't give percentages. So that becomes a problem for me, but that's what it is, because we don't know how many students actually graduated, right? And we don't know what exactly is happening. We don't know the median salary within each of them also. So that is the problem that we're dealing with here, right? They also have a lot of scholarships. Chief Minister Yuva Swawalamban Yojana and Chief Minister's Girl Education Fund, they have a scholarship. Honorable Chief Minister of Scholarship scheme of, so you actually have quite a few scholarships. There are links that we have given here. You can actually go through that. And then the scholarships continue. 100% tuition fee waiver. Top 3 students from NFSU merit based on CLAT, GPAT, GATE, CAT score. For each program, 100% of the tuition fee is waived. This is merit-based scholarship. Next students from NFSU merit, again 75% fee waived. Top 3 students from merit with potential income of less than 8 lakh rupees, 100% tuition fee waiver. And next 2 students, 75% tuition fee waiver, right? Now the recruiters. Now NFSU, as I told you, because it's one of the specialized institutions that we have in the country, some of the big companies were coming there, might still be coming there. We don't have data completely. This we've taken from the website of the university, mind you, but we can't confirm everything. Where Microsoft, ABB, Adobe, Qualcomm, Salesforce, Amazon, Jio, Tata. So now not everyone has to deal with anything to do with forensics, by the way, but they're coming there and maybe recruiting for the specialized role that they have, which is cybersecurity, forensic sciences, and fintech fraud. They have one program for MBA. So those kind of things. So there seems to be quite a few companies coming for placement, and this is the list that we have at this point in time, right? But when we looked at the LinkedIn profile of students who studied at NFSU and what they're doing, we found 7,483 students who studied at NFSU who are also on LinkedIn, of which right now 97 students are working in Deloitte, 56 are working in EY. In Delhi Police, 42 of them working, which is very, very good. Accenture, 7 people are working, and Amazon, 15 people are working. I don't know whether this is direct recruitment, I don't know all those things, but that's what it is. And at some point in time, 165 students worked in Deloitte, EY 115 worked, Delhi Police 212 students worked. Whether again it's internship or I don't know those kind of things also, right? 29 students worked at Accenture, Amazon 47 worked. Because we can't segregate based on the student claim whether it's internship or placement. So we are unable to do that because Delhi Police would have their own way of recruitment. It may not be direct as is no, right? Now within the entire space, about 94% of the students here work in India and 47 work in USA and all, because they would have moved out wanting to go for higher studies and then moved out of India. But at this point in time, as we see it, about 94% of the students who studied at NFSU are right now in India, and about 6% are outside of India. Whether they're studying or working somewhere or creating an international pathway, one doesn't know at this point in time. So that is the data of NFSU. As I told you, the problem that we had for this particular university is the data is not available on the website. They don't participate in any ranking of NRF or NAC or anything like that where we can actually access data from them. So to that extent, we are blind. So all we had to do is to rely on annual reports or some of the placement reports that the university itself puts up on the own website, and also depend on some of the social media chatter that happens, which is where we could gather whatever information we could gather and present it to you. I hope you take a decision with greater depth of research, research more, talk to more students, because the important thing for you is right now they're going to use the JEE main score to get students in, which means the pool will enlarge dramatically. Earlier they would not take the NFAT examination, they would take the JEE main and move on. But with JEE being used as a proxy to get into NFSU, should be very, very clear about whether this is the college that you want to study in, this is the university you want to study in, this is the specialization that you want to study in, and take that call. Because it's very important for you to understand what are your options based on your JEE main score. This becomes one of the options. But is it the right option? It is for you to decide for yourself. Thank you so much. Namaste.